So yo, I'm gonna need Joy Taylor, Skip Bayless, Emmanuel Acho. Bring y'all asses to the front of the congregation. We gotta have a word with y'all, man. Because what is this crazy? I'm hearing about freak offs of Fox. Is this real or is this just the blogs playing games with us, man? Or is this real? Because this is crazy. So, you know what? Before I get into this, man, let's have a trip down memory lane, shall we? Roll the clip.
Just got done with rehearsal for the new show Speak, and I got to take a moment to shout out my co-host Joy Taylor. A woman, a black woman, daily show, sports. Do you all realize how hard it is to get into the position that she is in? So often there's misogyny and sexism running rampant in sports, and we don't even care what women have to say in sports. But Joy is not only in the position on television as a woman, as a black woman, but as an opinionist. So not just asking men what they think, but providing her own unique and distinct insight. It's hard to do, and Joy, you have done it. So congratulations. Looking forward to working with you, and hope y'all tune in 4:30 to 6 Eastern every day starting next week.
All right. Now, I think what we have here is a case of whistleblowing. So let's pull up the lawsuit and let's get into it. So before I even get started with the lawsuit, we have four characters in the story. The four characters are the plaintiff, Mrs. Faraji, the exec at FS1, Mr. Dixon, Joy Taylor, y'all know who she is, and Emmanuel Acho, he's also another pair of Joy Taylor, right? So it's four characters, just so y'all know. Now, Mrs. Faraji, I think she started working at FS1 in 2003 because I did my research, so that's when she started working there. But let's get into the lawsuit, man. So let's go to page 5 because this is just nasty work. Hold on, where is it? So so Mr. Dixon gives Miss Taylor of Undisputed as a reward for having sex with him. This is crazy. So basically she's alleging that, or she's accusing Joy Taylor of sleeping her way to the top, which, I mean, I've heard whispers around, people online were always saying that Joy Taylor was always sneaky, as she had positions that she didn't deserve. But we're going to get into this lawsuit, man. So in approximately March 2016, Miss Faraji met Miss Taylor, an aspiring sports personality that had recently moved from Miami. If you know anything about Joy, you know she's from Miami, right? So on a day-to-day basis, Joy would basically fill in for, whenever the people were sick. She would basically be a backup host. So if a host was sick or on vacation, she would fill in for them, right? Now, in approximately May 2016, Joy asked Mrs. Faraji, that's the plaintiff, to meet for a drink at Santa Monica. Now, when Mrs. Faraji arrived, she found Miss Taylor with an older man, Fox Sports Executive Vice President Mr. Dixon. Now, why on earth would Joy Taylor, who was a backup host, be meeting up for drinks with an exec? That seems hella fishy. Like, why would, first of all, if you know anything about corporate America, executive level people, they do not hang out with lower level people. They don't, because it's a risk. It's not good for business. They don't do that. So that's red flag number one. Mr. Dixon went to buy them round of drinks of spicy margaritas. Miss Faraji asked who he was. Miss Taylor responded, he was just a friend. Lying ass bitch, bro. Lying ass bitch. So following that night, whenever Miss Faraji would meet Miss Taylor for drinks or food, Mr. Dixon would either arrive with Miss Taylor or show up later in the night and leave with Miss Taylor. So you're telling me that every time they go out she goes out for drinks with Joy Taylor, she's either arriving with this executive or he comes later and they leave together. Bruh, it's dead obvious. They sleeping around. Come on now. Come on, bruh. Come on. He would always buy rounds of drinks or food from their body language. Miss Faraji suspected that the pair were sleeping with each other. Although this concerned her, she knew Mrs. Taylor was married and she kept her opinions to herself. So not only was she sleeping with this dude, she was married. So she's a liar and a cheater. God damn. In approximately June 2016, While at work, Miss Faraji noticed Mr. Dixon in the elevator. Surprised by the coincidence, Miss Faraji found Miss Taylor and told her excitedly, "The guy who always buys our drinks is in the elevator." Miss Taylor quickly silenced Miss Faraji, explaining that who he was. Ah. So I thought first she said he was just her friend. Now when she sees him at work, she's like, "Oh, don't say that out loud because that's an exec." She didn't want nobody else to know about the relationship. You get what I'm saying? So, and let's keep in mind though, these things are all alleged, all right? These things are all in a court doc and they're alleged things. So let's continue though. So in approximately July 2016, word spread amongst Fox employees about a new show that was going to be a big deal, and it would star Mr. Skip Bayless and Sharpe. So we know about this, and that's very accurate because I remember, if I remember correctly, Undisputed did start in 2016. That's when LeBron and Steph were going at it in the NBA Finals. So that's very accurate information right there. So let me go down here. So basically, Mr. Bayless, you know what? I read this already, so let me just break it down for y'all. Basically, just to skip a few things. Basically, Skip Bayless, he never wanted to join the show, right? But because Skip was friends with Mr. Dixon, the executive, Mr. Dixon said, "Hey, I know you don't want to run the show, but just do me a favor and put her on the show." So basically, Joy got put on the show undeservingly because Shannon or Skip did not want her on the show, but because of the boss, Skip said, "You know what? I'll put you on the show, whatever." So that's how she got on the show. Now, isn't that the definition of, if all this is true? I'm not saying it's true, it's all alleged, but if all this is true, isn't that the definition of fucking your way to the top? That's got to screw your way to the top, right? Because you mess around with the boss, find favor, and all of a sudden now you're in these crazy positions. Like, come on. But let's continue though. Around August 2016, Mrs. Faraji attended a dinner with Miss Taylor and her husband, Mr. Dixon. So the spouses, Joy Taylor brought her husband to meet her boss, who she's sleeping with, and his wife. Bruh, this is nasty. This is nasty, man. During the dinner, Mrs. Taylor's husband became suspicious, smart man, that Mrs. Taylor and Mr. Dixon were having a sexual relationship. Soon after dinner, Miss Taylor's husband found the evidence of the inappropriate relationship and divorced her. So that kind of proves, I know it's alleged, but Joy did get a divorce. So that kind of brings a lot of credibility to this story, if you get what I'm saying. You feel me? But you know what? It gets worse. So like I said, Skip put Joy on Undisputed because, it was a favor for his boss. So that's why he did it. But now the plaintiff, Mrs. Faraji, she's also alleged that Skip Bayless also sexually harassed her. So let me get into it. So but hold on, before we get to that, Mr. Dixon, that's the exec, he gets rid of a female because she refused to have sex with him. So several years into Miss Faraji's tenure at Fox, a female talent member, anonymously obviously, hired Mrs. Faraji to do her hair. And because basically she was, I guess, a hair person for the show. So the lady asked Mrs. Faraji to meet her at lunch. So, she and the plaintiff went to lunch. This was a person that got fired for allegedly not having sex with Mr. Dixon like Joy did, right? So when they were at lunch, that person told the plaintiff, Mrs. Faraji, that she will no longer be at Fox. What Mr. Dixon told her she would need to have sex with him if she wanted to renew her contract. So this exec is a dirty dog because he wants to smash all these girls just for them to get money or to renew their contracts or even to move up. So that's how he does it, huh? Fox, y'all was over there having free calls, man. This is crazy. The lady also said that Mr. Dixon was doing this to other women in the talent wise. Of course he was. She should warn Miss Taylor to be careful. A talk show host had recently reported Mr. Dixon. So this exec has been reported for this type of sexual behavior at work. Sexual indecency. That's just nasty work. Following the lunch, Mrs. Faraji called Miss Taylor to convey the anonymous. Mrs. Taylor responded that no one gives a fuck about her or the talk show host who just reported Miss Dixon. Mr. Dixon, I should say. So you're telling me that Joy was warned about this guy and she said no one gives a F. You know why she said that? Because she was getting the move up. She was getting the job she wanted and Mr. Dixon gave her that job. You get what I'm saying? So that's exactly why she said no one gives a F. She's basically defending him, which is just crazy to me. But we're going to get into the Skip Bayless part right now because I know a lot of y'all clicked on this video to know about Skip. So let's get to Skip. After reporting the talk show host, hold on, where am I? Okay. After reporting by the talk show host fell on deaf ears, Mr. Bayless began requesting Mrs. Faraji to give him a haircut once a week in the makeup rooms. So Skip requested her to work for him, basically. So she did as she was told. You know, she gave him haircuts. Initially, during the haircuts, Mr. Bayless would discuss his life, his work at Fox, or other innocuous matters. However, soon after the weekly haircut started, Mr. Bayless began finding excuses to touch Mrs. Faraji. He would give her lingering hugs after each haircut, putting his body against her own, pressing her breast. He then began to kiss her cheeks. Mrs. Faraji was uncomfortable by the physical contact and would make excuses to leave right after the haircuts. So in the summer of 2017, while Miss Faraji was giving Mr. Skip Bayless a haircut, he told her she was voluptuous. Damn, Skip, you spitting game at work? As English is her second language, she was not familiar with the word. Miss Faraji asked what that meant. Mr. Bayless seemed amused and told her to figure it out. Damn. Miss Faraji later asked a co-worker what the word meant, and she was mortified. Mr. Bayless then started being more aggressive with his direct advances. Miss Faraji continuously declined, stating that she did not date at work and she is a single mom and needed her job. Okay. So Miss Faraji was terrified and then turned to her co-worker to discuss the situation, basically to vent to her co-worker about what's going on. The two decided that Mr. Bayless was a powerful man at Fox and Fox protected powerful men. Exactly. So that's why they could get away with stuff like that. The two decided that Miss Faraji needed to be kind towards Mr. Bayless and not risk her job. As a single mother who relied on her job to support her son, Mrs. Faraji said she had no choice. Okay. So she was keeping all this a secret. So why did she decide to let it out now? I know why. She no longer works there. That's the only reason, because her hours were cut after going on medical leave. See, I knew it. So this is why she decided to spill the beans. But this is a long lawsuit, man. It's a 42-page lawsuit. I'm not gonna read all of it. Honestly, I'm just not gonna read all of it. But I feel like I'm gonna give my 2 cents on this, right? In my opinion, I believe parts of the story. I'm not gonna say I believe all of it. I believe parts of it. I believe the part about Joy Taylor. She comes across as that type of individual. So I low-key believe that part. And what made me believe it is also that she really had a divorce from her husband, which gives credibility to this type of, story. So that's why I believe the Joy Taylor part. The Skip Bayless part, I'm not sure if I believe that 100%. And I'm not saying, for me, it's 50-50. I think that he might have not. I don't know, because the way the sports world works now, a lot of people make false accusations. I remember when they accused Michael Irvin of doing something he never did. But what I'm 100% sure of is this: there's video cameras everywhere at Fox. All right, so whatever accusations these are, I am sure there's video evidence for this. So if it's a lie, they're gonna know it's a lie, because they have video recordings to really prove if this is true or not. The only way that we will not know for sure, and there's no proof, is if they deleted all the video evidence. And if they deleted all the video evidence or the video recordings at Fox, spurring back to that time, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. If anybody works in security, that's in the comments. Y'all can let me know how that goes. But I believe these things are supposed to stay on file. You understand? Now, when it comes to I think this is how this is going to end. Somebody's going to have to take the fall for this. I don't know who it is, but most likely the biggest person that they're gonna put to take the fall for this, in my opinion, would be Skip Bayless, because Skip Bayless, for one, they already fired him. They already let him go. So it's going to be easy to put this on him because he's no longer with the company anyways. So he's the low-hanging fruit. So in my opinion, I think they're all going to put this on Skip, and he's just going to have to go down for it. That's just my opinion, man. Let me know if y'all have different opinions. The only way I see anybody else apart from Skip goes down for this is if Fox need to cut some people, or they need to cut staff. This would be an easy way for them to get rid of Joy or Acho. If they plan to do it in a few months, now they can do it a few months early because now this scandal came out. You get what I'm saying? Mr. Dixon, I'm pretty sure he's not going to go anywhere, because when you're so far up the ranks with all those connections, it's going to be hard, or usually it is hard for them to get rid of you. Based on what I've seen, you know, I've worked in corporate America for a while, and I understand how these things work. So he's probably not going to go down. Most of the time it's the people below him that go down. You get what I'm saying? So in my opinion, the only way Acho or Joy loses their job is if they're planning to cut people anyway. In terms of Skip, he's probably the most likely. He's going to be going down for it most likely, just because they already cut bait with him. But that's my opinion on this, man. Let me know what y'all think about this crazy story, because I can't believe they were having freak-offs, alleged freak-offs at Fox. But let me know what you guys think about this. And until next time, man, y'all be safe out here, man. It's a crazy world. I'm out.